group stages are finally over. The knockout rounds are currently underway, and the World Cup 2026 is really beginning to come alive. So, as always, I am Craig. I am joined by the other co-host, Tom, and today we're just going to talk about how England have topped their group after beating Panama. There was some good performances in other group stage games come the end of the match day 3. There's been a few major upsets, and now every game is a win or go home. So this is where it gets really tasty. Tonight, we're going to review England's win over Panama, look ahead to the round of 32 clash with Congo, discuss the standout results very, very quickly from the day after the last podcast and now, and then we'll just make some quick knockout predictions. And then we're going to finish on one news that come out of the Premier League today regarding Manchester City. So it sounds like a lot to get through, but it'll soon come and go, so we won't bore you too much. Tom, how are you today on this beautiful, cool down Monday evening?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, very good. I watched most of the Brazil-Japan game, so that's Japan are out of the World Cup, and South Africa also out of the World Cup. So yeah, the World Cup is really heating up. As I say, like, it was good to watch all of the group stages, but now this is when it really gets exciting, where every team has really got to play until the end, try to win, because it's knockout football.
Of course it is, and that's the beauty of it. And we were just talking before we started this episode about how tired we both are, and me especially. I am really trying to raw dog this World Cup, and it is really raw dogging me back. It's just, I'm considering staying up till 2 a.m. tomorrow morning, which is just a recipe for disaster. Anyway, let's get on to the podcast before everybody gets bored about the World Cup raw dogging us. So, first segment of the night, we're going to talk about England's win over Panama. We're going to talk about what England did well, what questions still remain, and any selection headaches coming up for Tuchel. As we know, he loves a right back who gets injured. So let's start about with what England did well. Tom, I'll let you start off with this one. Amongst the disappointments of some fans, we topped Group L.
Yeah.
Can you take the positives out of them? What did England do well in your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about this quite a lot since that last game. I think even though you've got other teams who have won sort of their group with 3 games, haven't they? So let's say Argentina, France. I think that those teams are what everyone sort of looks up to. But I think in this era of looking up for perfection, I think you can't really complain too much about England just having drawn 1 game. I think, as you've both said, the World Cup, it really starts basically once you're through to the knockouts. So if you get through, then that's what you need, and then you try and focus on the knockouts. So I'm not too disappointed about the fact that we drew 1 game. The game against Panama, I think the first half was just trying to break down that low block, wasn't it? I mean, Panama, I think they had 5 or 6 in defence at some point, just playing back there. It was really, it was a bit of the repeat of the Ghana game, but just the first half, really. So it was positive that England managed to actually not only score 1 but 2 goals against them. I mean, so that was quite positive. That even when teams do play that low block, and I think teams from now on are a bit less likely to play that way, because again, as you've said, every team has to win to go through, don't they? So I think teams will try to attack each other more, and so then that leaves the defense vulnerable to like counter attacks. And I think England have got amazing forwards that have got pace. Gordon, Rashford, the Madueke. Saka is still a bit off form, isn't he? Like he still isn't quite hitting his form, and that pace is still not quite there. But these players in Bellingham, he's playing really well, isn't he? I mean, for me, I think so far he's my best player. For England. He scored a great goal against Panama and so did Kane again. So I'd say that's pretty good so far. I think that our route to the final is going to be quite a spicy and quite difficult one because, like as you say, we have Congo next, but then I think it could be Brazil with the game after, and then Argentina the game after that, and then who is in the quarterfinals or semi-finals. But then the final would be Spain or France. So, I mean, if we make it. I personally am now thinking that we aren't going to make it. We're in Win World Cup, but I'm still going to be supporting and hoping that we do. But I just think against Argentina, France, or Spain, I think Brazil are not playing that well. So I think we could beat Brazil and go through.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to take there, actually. I'm trying to think which bit to start on. I had a few things in my head that I wanted to catch on, and then maybe I had to move to Brazil now. For England, obviously, what England did well at the World Cup against Panama, I think, when you think about it, when you think about the World Cup, including the warm-up games, which, you got to get the players prepared for, I mean, it's a third clean sheet in 4 matches other than the Croatia game. You've got to take the little positives where you can. I mean, they've topped the group to avoid a tougher knockout game. I mean, these little things that people kind of take for granted right now, they all add up in the end. And I agree with what you said. We were talking about Bellingham before the World Cup has started a few episodes ago, and we both agreed that he needed to step up, and I really do think he is. I think the Bellingham we're seeing right now is a very matured, collective player. He has a little bit of an attitude issue, I still think, on the pitch. He riles teams up. We saw that against Ghana. I think sometimes he's too honest in what he's saying, but all that will come with experience as well. And playing in a team with Harry Kane is going to help that. He's, as a mentor for the English game or the English national team in the game. Kudos to Kane as well, getting another World Cup. I remember in the Euros 2020, or actually no, the Qatar World Cup, and everyone was like, Kane's losing it. And then he stepped up in the Euros 24. He's stepping up now. And, players like Messi, and Kane are really stepping up where when it matters, regardless of what age is at the moment. So we're kind of seeing a shift into what England. I think we're currently at England's peak, because when you look at and I'm still on the what England did well here. Tuchel's picked a squad that he believes is a collective response. So he's not picking the best players, he's picking the best squad to work with each other. But when you look at England, they've got quite a few aging players: Pickford, Kane, Stones, who's still in the team, injury-prone players like James. Normally in England's squad, you see a mix of experience and young players. And then you can see how the tournament progresses, like with Foden. Foden had been in the squad a long time to, bring himself up to that level. Stones is a perfect example. When he came in the squad in 2017 and he stayed there, you kind of look now at the next generation. You see Watkins, who wasn't a young player. You see Ivan Toney, who won't see another England squad. we're picking stones again for this World Cup, and he's clearly not up to it. Why didn't he experiment with a goalkeeper in that game for Panama? And this we're now leading on to where the questions remain. Yes, we did well, and yes, the World Cup, we just want to win the tournament. That's what we got out to win. But you've also got to think to yourself, what if we get a goalkeeper injury now? What if we get Kane gets injured? Watkins only had about, was it 10 minutes on the pitch at that?
But less than that, yeah.
Yeah, and when you get to a game like that, you've got to be prepared for everything. It's like Livramento got injured, then Reece James got injured, and now Quansah's got injured. All three right backs are injured. At this rate, he's going to be bloody playing Dan Burn at right back.
Yeah.
Or bloody Rice, who played there a few times for Arsenal. And it's, knockout football is about getting results. So before I carry on, so it's not all about me, I said where my questions still remain.
Yeah.
Was it a slow start? I don't think it was. I just think Panama played that low block and it is hard to get out of. Thank God they are shit, because it would have been another stressful evening like it was for Ghana. But where do you still think the questions remain and what the concerns are?
I think, so from that first half, I think one concern is, even though they did manage to, at the end, break that team down, I think that's going to be the difference in terms of when you're playing Panama and then you're playing a team like Brazil, who are like a step up, and then there's Argentina, France, Spain, who are like 5 steps up. And you can't expect those teams to have those moments like what we did in Panama, where basically the defense, they start to switch off late on in those games. So that's where I think the challenge might come, is against the real quality teams. Do we have it in our team to actually go and break those teams down, even if it's on the 85th minute or something like that? Because those teams, I'm 80 to 90% sure that they won't have who will switch off basically at those times. I do agree with you that another concern is the right back position. I mean, it's funny because I can remember, I think we even spoke about it on the pod, that I said, well, and like I still do believe in Tuchel, and that he made a good sort of choice in sort of picking his squad. But in hindsight, sort of everyone could sort of say, oh yeah. And now I do think that if he had brought in Trent, then that would have been perhaps just one bit of individual quality that might have made a difference. I mean, you mentioned Tony there. I mean, I don't even think that he'll even start or like even come on like as a substitute. So like, there's one player who you could swap for like Trent and have him in for like a late on player. Like if Tuchel wants him to come on a bit later, I do think that was a mistake now in hindsight, from Tuchel to like not brought Trent on. I think apart from that, I mean, I think it's pretty good. I think he was good at resting Rice that game, because Rice is going to be crucial to helping us like basically against the teams that are more quality. So that was a good thing to do.
Yeah, I agree, and for the right back situation, our only other right back now is Jed Spence, and you know what? I won't even say I'm only criticising players because obviously England haven't been so exciting. They've won the games, or there's been a bit of criticism of them online. But I said to you on Saturday night, he gets into good positions and he's rapid. But that's all I can see from Jed Spence. He doesn't put a ball in. He doesn't hold a ball. It's just his pace. I don't quite know where his quality lies. And even before, I know he's a right back, and I do think Jed Spence was brought in to be on that left side because that's where he played predominantly the games for Tottenham. And it just makes you wonder, when you can't get a these teams who play low blocks, you want to put a ball in. You've
Yeah.
literally all you've got this tournament is Rice. Alexander-Arnold sitting at home on a beach. Lewis Hall, who's probably been the best English left back, other than O'Reilly, coming to the end of the second half of the season. He's sitting at home and he can put a ball in, and it just makes you wonder. It just frustrates you. Like, at the end of the day, if you win the tournament, you can't moan. And as football fans, you have got a right to an opinion. But I just find it absolutely bizarre because he come out in his press conference and said nobody would have saw Reece James getting injured. Tell you what, Stevie Wonder could have saw that. Could have seen that. Stevie Wonder could have seen that Reece James was going to get injured at some point. I wish I put bloody money on it at the moment. At that moment,
Yeah.
But listen, Quanso had a good game. Don't think he had a fantastic game, but he did what he needed to do. And yeah, let's look at Jed Spence going forward. He's obviously the lead candidate going into that game. Right, let's quickly move on. And when I move on onto the preview of Congo, because this is where it flows in now. You're talking about saving Rice for those games where, me personally, I do think the games will open up. I do think the occasion for English players with Tuchel as a pioneer will give the squad a little bit more confidence in the matches than Sarif
Southgate.
Southgate's got gout. Gareth Southgate. I do think, obviously, when we got that goal against Spain, he kind of sat back for another defender, and we've already got 5 defenders and 2 central. It was a disaster, and it looked ugly. But I do think against Spain, against Argentina, against Mexico, it was another good team. I'm not sure against France, but against those kind of teams, we will open up a bit more because that's the type of players we've got. I really do worry, and there's a bit inside me that says our tournament could end at the next game against Congo, because I reckon they will be tasting now. They'll be thinking, we're in the last 32. We've seen England struggle against Ghana. We've seen them struggle against Panama. Let's go out there and make it absolutely horrible. I think England will dominate possession, but I think Congo are one of the surprise packages, and they will defend deep. They'll stay compact, and they're fast. They're going to have some fast counter-attacking on that game. So the question is, Tom, can England move the ball quick enough to create chances against Congo, or do you think we're going to see the same frustrating game we saw against Ghana?
Well, I'm just looking at their team now, actually. So they got Wissa, so he's well known, like for us in the league.
Newcastle.
But I can't really see anybody else who I can actually. Oh yeah, there's one Bissaka who I've heard of before. I'm sure he plays in the league for some team. Because
he played for Manchester United, ran back, and then
that's it. Okay, yeah.
Under Mourinho, and then he plays for Aston Villa, does he?
I mean, so I don't know a huge amount about their team in terms of that, but if you think
Mbemba's a good defender, and Mbemba's a good defender.
Yeah, if you think of Congo, Ghana, another African team got through, and they have got good players, haven't they? So you think they'll just sit back and defend and try and steal a goal, not like I'm just here or there and get us on the counter attack because we'll be going and trying to attack them, right? Well, just
like people are saying about England opening up with games, will get better with bigger games.
Yeah.
I think if you're Congo, you're making history now. You're in the last 32. You want to get to the last 16. You've seen England. I mean, the part of the coach's job, the fact that you have head coaches and first team coaches, is to scout these teams and see where England's weaknesses lie. And if you stay compact and play 5 at the back, or even 4 at the back, and then keep it tight to midfield, I think they'll look at that and think, let's just play like that. We've got nothing to lose. Because we've seen England struggle playing like that. If they play, and then they'll look at Croatia and see where it's opened up a little bit, and England got 4 goals. So I do think they'll defend deep. I think it's going to be a frustrating. I do think it'll be frustrating. It wouldn't surprise me he did slip up. But anyway, enough about my negativity. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think he'll win. I'll say that much. I think, yeah, it might be a similar game to Panama. Sort of, once we get a goal, then basically they'll crumble a bit, and England will start to sort of put more pressure on it, like on them. I tell you what, a player that I haven't seen play enough that I want to see play is actually who you mentioned. So it's Ollie Watkins. I was just disappointed that Tuchel brought him on for such a short length of time. I mean, for me, I thought, what's the point in even bringing him on for that last 6-8 minutes of the game? Because when he's on form, he's really on form, and he's quicker than Kane. So I like to see him play more. So say if we had Kane on, have him on for the first half, and then bring Ollie Watkins around the 65th minute or something like that, or like perhaps at the ad break, and bring Watkins on for that.
It wouldn't surprise me if that was his plan against Panama, and then realised we went into the second half 0-0. You know,
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if that was his plan. To be fair, yeah, I do think they'll be frustrating, and if anything, we can't really compare them to Panama because Congo scored a few goals in this World Cup. The last game they won 3-1, so it's not like the team were just.
Well, so I did see that, but then again, I do think about the quality of these teams. Uzbekistan. I mean, I never even watched them play.
You can say the same about. Say the same about Panama, couldn't you? Against England, only 2-0.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What
I mean,
you think we'll win comfortably? Are you saying you think we will win comfortably?
Well, like a bit of a similar game to like Panama, I think, in terms of there'll be the usual sort of nerves and sort of thing in the pub of saying, "Oh, well, you're not sure why I came in, wasted that's like 5-6 quid on a pint," and where like I could remember where I could have stayed at home and watched it there instead. But like then it sort of becomes a bit sort of better as they get better on the game and they score. But I mean, to be fair, I think every game from now on is going to be challenging and difficult and nerve-wracking, even against teams who aren't so defensive-minded, because those teams can score a hell of a lot of goals. So even if you get a game where basically like it's 2-2, and then 3-2, 3-3, 4-3, 4-5, 4-5. Like that'd be crazy to see those numbers. But even then, that's going to be like a very nerve-wracking watch as an England fan.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping you're right, and I'm hoping it isn't frustrating, especially if I'm going to rush home from work for it. That is for sure.
Yeah. I mean, put it this way: both games in the knockout round have only won by like 1 goal, whereas previously you saw score lines of 3-1, 4-1, and like 7-1. So like I think it's going to be a lot tougher, and both teams are like going to try to really win. So you'll see the margins a lot less than we have been seeing them.
Yeah, and for this game against Congo, you said you'd like to see a little bit more of Watkins.
Yeah.
Is there any other players you'd like to see a little bit more of? Not, it could be a single player, but also, do you think Tuchel will make any changes to the squad coming into the Congo game?
I think if anything, I think he probably will bring Rice back in. I think for like at least part of the game, since he gave that whole game off. Yeah, so I said Watkins. I think he was my main player really that I wanted to see more of. All the rest have had a fair share of their play. I do think it's better if we start with Gordon though. Rashford, he comes on as a sub. I'm not sure why he started over Gordon last game. I do think that gives a little bit of a bit of an element of change because Gordon, when he's fresh, he really can come on in the start and like impact games. I think better than what Rashford can. And Rashford is a bit like a clutch player who like comes on at the like 70th minute and really can just turn the heat up on teams that are tired. So that's something that I would like to see Gordon start, and like Rashford might always come on as a sub. I think, and Saka wasn't that good either, so I think I'll probably start Madueke, basically.
I absolutely agree with you there.
And then bring Saka on later on because he's really not the same as what he used to. I think when he had that when he had that Achilles basically injury, I think he sort of come back, but he's just not the same.
He hasn't been the same all season. I think he's had a poor season. Arsenal winning the league has made him look very good, but I think it's a bit of that kind of the honeymoon period with Saka, where he's kind of like the Arsenal star boy and England's star boy. Let's look at England's star boy, but he's just not living up to that expectation at the moment. And I do think Madueke deserves to. As much as I don't like, is I think he strops a little bit on the pitch. Or not strops. That's the wrong word. That's the wrong word. I think sometimes he looks like, should I run for that ball? Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah,
do you think his quality has been better?
Yeah, it has. Yeah. He starts running and then stops and then starts and stops again, and he doesn't seem to have that sort of confidence of sort of doing something and just going for it, and like. He used to go, then stop, and then there's a bit, hesitation there.
Yeah, of course. So, at the end of the day, viewers, I think we both think, well, we both hope, and I'm guessing you guys do as well, that England will go through. Tom thinks it'll be a bit more of an open game, which I really do hope it does, because we were a decent. Could do that Croatia vibes again, to be fair. And if we do, let's say, lose, it'd be good to lose playing some good football, not playing Southgate football, which I didn't actually have a problem with. I'm just trying to make a joke before anyone crucifies me. But I do think it'll be a very defensive game from Congo. I think they're going to be smart enough to think, let's just do what Panama did. Let's just do what Ghana did. So, yeah, that's our views on that game. So, we said it was going to be a quick episode so you don't get bored. So that was only the first segment out of 5. So we best get moving on a little bit. I'm going to quickly run out some memorable games, Tom, and then I want you to pick one out that you actually thought was the highlight of this past week. So we had Ecuador beat Germany 2-1 in the biggest shock of the group stage, basically ended Germany's unbeaten run. And Ecuador secured a famous victory. We had France annihilating Norway, but to be fair, they did drop Haaland for that game. Senegal 5-0 against Iraq. I'm so glad England aren't playing Senegal that next match, because they beat England last year as well. Netherlands quite efficiently beat Tunisia 3-1. Sweden drew 1-1 with Japan, but obviously, as we know, as of right now, Japan have just gone out to Brazil, and that game ended 2-1 in the last minute and a half. It was spectacular. Spain beat Uruguay. Belgium beat New Zealand 5-1. And as we all know, Scotland have been eliminated. And what made me absolutely laugh is their chances of staying in the competition before the England game were like 10%. And you still had Scotland fans thinking they were going to get through. And then I remember reading the post where it said Scotland have been confirmed relegated, knocked out of the World Cup. And I remember turning to someone to me right on Saturday saying, as if they had any chance. I mean, if they went down to 10%, have a little bit of dignity, guys. And then last night, the first round of the last 32, Canada beat South Africa 1-0. And it was a 90 plus 2-minute goal. Can't say his name, but he sent Canada into the last 16. So, Tom, which results changed your view of the tournament? Which results got you thinking, wow, what a game? Or are you just not bothered?
Well, no, yeah, I think the one that Ecuador versus Germany, that really was just for Ecuador. It was just fantastic, just to watch the whole game, to watch that, and that's I think is the benchmark for the sort of tournament, is just that sort of unexpectedness, teams who really want to win. So I mean, Ecuador scored their second goal, and that was a fantastic goal. I think it was a mistake by Germany, and then Ecuador sort of got it quite high up the pitch, and they took it and the shot. And actually, I thought that Neuer actually had a bit of a poor game in goal for Germany, because even though that was a good goal for Ecuador, you could see that Neuer was just in the middle of the goal, and he could have moved a bit and saved it fairly easily. But then on the commentary, I think it was who's the goalie who goes on commentary now? Hart, isn't it? Yeah, Hart. And he was saying, that from the goalkeeper's perspective, he actually couldn't see the ball until the very last minute. So I suppose got
has loved saying for this tournament.
He tries to, but he's definitely on the goalie side, isn't he, and not on the other person's side. But
all World Cup, it's been about the ball being the issue.
Yeah, true, yeah.
That's the only thing he's got up his sleeve.
But yeah, I mean that game was sensational. The other thing that I love about the World Cup that we haven't spoken so much about is just seeing the fans just in the stadium and having a great time and enjoying it all. And I saw an Ecuador fan who actually was dressed as a parrot, and so they had the whole feathers, the whole hat of a parrot on their head. I was thinking about the sheer dedication of that fan to go there in 28-degree or 30-degree heat and stay in this feathered parrot costume the whole game. But they looked so happy that it made you as a home viewer think, it's just legendary, really. Just the scenes from the World Cup is not only about the football, but just the fans, the stadium, the reaction, the sounds, the drums. It's just an amazing spectacle to watch, really, isn't it? It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. I think that's the excitement of it, isn't it? It's like the biggest stage of them all being completed in 1 month of football. I think we spend all season watching league football, knockout football, domestic football. Is it the League Cup? Is it the FA Cup? What league game are we in? Have we played this team already? Whereas the World Cup is every nation all of a sudden coming together to play a game of football, and it's completed within 30-odd days. So yeah, I feel that's what I love about it so much. I can watch any game of this tournament and I will get excited about it. I think was it Iran versus Egypt? That was a classic game, amazing game. Great.
What was your standout game then?
Of the past week that we've just started, I'd say Brazil beating Scotland 3-0. I haven't got a vendetta against Scotland.
Yeah.
I mean, they honestly thought they had a chance. I mean, I don't think England got a chance against Brazil. I've just watched Brazil be absolutely crap, and I still don't think England got a chance. So for Scotland to say this could be special, oh, it's laughable. But that wasn't really a standout game. I think we all knew Brazil were going to win that one. Belgium 5-1 against New Zealand. Belgium had a pretty poor World Cup, really poor. I've watched both games for various reasons, and if anything, it was like watching a really poor England team. It's just like they just didn't know how to click. And then to win 5-1, I suppose it was a statement and a reminder of attacking equality. But the one I really did like was the Mexico 3-0 win. I think when you look at the tournament's host, USA, Canada, and Mexico, everyone's got their eyes set on USA. Everyone's got their eyes set on Canada. And I feel like Mexico, they're putting on the best shows. They've got the best fans. They've got the best style of football. Everything about Mexico. And I feel like they aren't getting the spotlight, so they should. And to win 3-0 against Czech Republic, who's a big team in Europe, they always make it through quite a lot of stages in the Europa competitions. I thought that was a good victory, and I enjoyed that game. So, and Spain versus Uruguay, that was quite feisty. Yeah. So those are the games we've seen last week. Let's quickly have a look at the games that are coming up in the last 32. So obviously as we just mentioned, Canada have gone through. This night we've got Brazil
really games. Yeah,
really Brazil going forward today. So you can have a look at it if you want, but I've put it onto the screen as well, Tom. So shall we just do a quick fire round? Do we think we'll go through into the next round? So obviously got Germany and Paraguay. Quickly, who do you think will go through on that one?
With Germany.
Yeah, same. I think Germany are just going to be too good for them. The next game, I mean, if you say Sweden against France, then something is wrong, but I think France has got that one in the bag, haven't they?
Yeah.
And that's a really, really tasty last 16. That's not even the quarterfinals. And that's how good this 48-team World Cup is. Canada have gone through. So who do we think will be their opponents, Netherlands or Morocco?
Now, that actually is a tight game, I think.
That's hard, isn't it? That is hard.
Because Morocco played really well, like, in their group. So I think that might actually be the tightest game of the lot.
Yeah.
For that round.
I think Morocco will go through. I think they will want it more than Netherlands.
Yeah.
Portugal, Croatia.
Portugal, I think.
Yeah, I think I think Portugal's midfield might be too much for Croatia. So I'm going to go Portugal as well. Spain and Austria. I mean, Spain have got that in the bag, haven't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they're one of the favourites.
Let's hope. I mean, like, if they don't, then they'll be like more like the biggest shockers of the World Cup, like, ever.
Yeah, they are the second favourites to win it, and they've got a very good chance to win if they play to the full potential. USA and Bosnia.
USA, I think. I said from the start that I think USA will make it through to the quarterfinals because they're doing well and they got the home crowd advantage. So I
agree. So Belgium, Senegal. I really think Senegal will go through. I really do. I think they're a good team. I think people underestimate them. I think the last interview of the England-Panama match, someone mentioned to Tuchel in the interview about Senegal, and his face was like nobody wants Senegal because they're the kind of team who, when they attack you, they kind of attack you. So I think Senegal. What do you think?
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Senegal. Okay, cool. We know Brazil have gone through against Japan, Ivory Coast and Norway.
Oh, that's going to be a bit of a tight one. I mean,
Is how long going to be the difference, do you reckon?
I think probably Ivory Coast will. I think Ivory Coast are. I think they'll win that.
Do you? Okay.
But just because I think Ivory Coast have been in more World Cups, sort of more recently than Norway, because Norway haven't been in it for so long. So I think probably with that experience, I think they probably just beat them. Yeah.
Okay, let's say Norway then. Mexico, Ecuador. I'd like to see Mexico go through on this.
Mexico. Oh, yeah, but Ecuador. I mean, like, I love them now that the way they beat Germany. I am now rooting for them. So I'm actually going to say Ecuador.
Ecuador, fine. Ecuador. England and Congo. I mean, we've got to say England, haven't we?
England.
What is the point of doing this bloody World Cup special if we don't say England? So definitely England, yes. I think they'll smash them.
Yeah.
They keep saying that until we actually smash a team, and I was like, I told you so. I'm wasted. I'm wasted on this YouTube channel. Argentina and Cape Verde.
Like Cape Verde, definitely Cape Verde. Yeah.
Yeah, Cape Verde. I think the goalkeeper alone just deserves to go through.
I think like that goalkeeper who's 41 and like, man, he'll go through and score a header or something and like just go and win the game like it's like on a corner.
Yeah. I think if Argentina play their cards right here, they have got probably the easiest bracket to go through. So if they do go through, they've got either a team against Egypt or Australia.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
That's obviously an Egypt win there. And then after that, you've got Switzerland and Algeria, which I think Algeria won that one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then Colombia and Ghana. Oh, Colombia's attack is really, really sensual, isn't it? That's the issue. Their attack is so fluid. Will Ghana play that kind of defensive football they know worked against England? I'd like to say, listen, I'd like to see a football match and I'd like to see goals, so I'm going to go Colombia.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, and just quickly looking at that, Argentina, they would be rubbing their hands together for a semi-final, at least a semi-final run. They probably got the easiest run. So we have now just done our kind of a collaborated prediction of the next round. So the last bit, really, what we're going to finish on is something that's come out this afternoon of Enzo Maresca as been confirmed as Manchester City manager. So after weeks of speculation or expectation, should we say, Manchester City have finally confirmed Enzo Maresca's as Pep Guardiola's successor on a 3-year contract. So we were saying, and I don't know if when I say we, the collective we, but it was in conversation with many people, why is it taking so long? And I think you said last week when we saw each other with James, it isn't good for anyone, this is. Why is it taking so long? Do they know what they're doing? Is Maresca going to be the man who takes over? But now we know after Chelsea's statement, the delay was largely down to the negotiations with Chelsea over compensation. Because who does this? So you know Manchester City want you. So you go to, instead of just leaving your employer, he goes to his employer and says, listen, Chelsea, you give me all this faith, you give me all this money. I want to take over from Pep Guardiola. And that is why, now we know why that kind of breakdown in communication happened. Because we were saying, like, earlier in the season, why is Maresca and Chelsea like he was doing well, he won the World Cup, they were like third in the league, and everyone was scratching their heads, and we thought it's because Chelsea wanted a yes man who did everything they said. And obviously Chelsea's response obviously released a detailed statement saying the relationship deteriorated once it became clear that Maresca wanted to join City. Manchester City, that is, once or if Guardiola left. Chelsea also confirmed compensation arrangements have been agreed. So it is extremely unusual for a Premier League club to publicly explain a breakdown with the manager in much detail. I've never seen that happen before, especially like 8 months down the line, which is why the stories become almost as much about Chelsea statement as it is against City's appointment. What do you think about the fiasco, and what do you also think about Maresca as Manchester City boss after years of Pep Guardiola?
I think it's going to be difficult for Maresca to really fill the boots of Pep Guardiola. I think anyone is going to be difficult for him to actually try to even sort of, do as good as him. I think very unlikely. Yeah, I mean that was surprising to me too. To see that today about all that controversy, but it does sort of make sense now, doesn't it? As to why things sort of started to break down between him and the Chelsea bosses or the board of directors, that sort of thing. I mean, it does seem a bit of a strange play from him, doesn't it, to have done that and not just go. But then you don't know. I don't know how their contract is sort of, like he might have signed something to say that if he wants to leave, then like he has to go and speak to them first. But that's maybe like that might be part of the contract that he signed. I mean, I got no idea.
But this is the thing: we know Manchester City's got money, so you'd stay at Chelsea, keep earning your wage, get to the end of the season. Man City want you. Man City pay the compensation, and you're in a new job. You do a season of. You're going into Manchester City not having a job for 8 months. I mean, that could be suicidal. Let's put it that way. What I don't understand is he's now got to pay compensation to Chelsea. Whereas we know Manchester City wanted him. We know Manchester. If you look at any manager who's worked with Pep, it's either Arteta or Maresca. Both of them have been at the side of Pep Guardiola. So with how poor Chelsea have been over recent years, you go for Maresca. So I just don't understand why he's out of pocket now. But anyway, we don't know if Manchester City are going to pay that for him.
Yeah.
Is replacing Pep Guardiola the hardest job of football? And is Maresca going to be kind of like the David Moyes that after Alex Ferguson, doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to be scrutinised straight away?
Yeah. I think, like in a very short answer, yes. I think just, I mean, if you think about the history that Pep Guardiola has sort of helped to achieve there, he's broken all the records, hasn't he? He's broken a lot of the records for like the most league titles in a row and trebles, and it's incredible what he's done. So yeah, I think if the fans have got high expectations, then I think they might be disappointed.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, I think he plays some good football. I mean, he's got a couple of trophies under his belt at Chelsea. When I say a couple, obviously the World Cup, and I think maybe that's all he had, to be fair. Anyway, it's nice to see a little bit of Premier League news come out between the World Cup. So is there anything else that's caught your eye over the past week, Tom? Anything you want to bring up? Anything?
Well, I think, since we're following on from that vein of Premier League news, I don't know. I mean, I hope I don't sort of shoot myself in the foot here, but there has been some news in terms of Arsenal signings that I'm keeping my sort of close eyes on. Is obviously there's the Alvarez signing that hasn't been confirmed, but I think that will happen for Arsenal, that they'll sign him from Atletico Madrid. There's been quite a lot of things coming out saying that Barcelona tried to have him, and then Atletico Madrid were very upset by it and said that he definitely isn't going to you unless you pay 500 million. for him that is just absolutely out of this world. But the other one that I think is looking more likely is that we're looking at getting Bruno from Newcastle. So they approached, I think, with a bid of around 40 million, 50 million, I think, and Newcastle said no. And then I've been having things on my Twitter X feed, just coming every day, saying that Arsenal are apparently advancing in making a second offer that most people are thinking is going to be accepted. And I think they're probably getting Bruno. Well, I mean, the reason is because I think Rice has been such an outstanding player for Arsenal, but they are thinking that if they play another season with him playing every single game, then they might get him an injury. So I think Bruno is coming in to sort of try and help out to sort of switch more with Rice, which I think will help Arsenal a lot to try and get a second Premier League title. So so hopefully that gets done.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's a shame to see where Newcastle are really, because I still don't quite understand the situation where they've been bought over. Yes, with the new financial rules, you have to make money before you can't just get your owner pump loads of money in, because that's how football clubs fold. But I don't really know where the commercial side of Newcastle's gone wrong. I mean, they have the sporting director who left abruptly and went to Manchester United. They've now got to sell players before they can buy them. But they're not just selling players; they're selling the best players: Gordon, Guimaraes, Tonali. I mean, he looks like he's in Spurs. How desperate must you be to want to go to Spurs? I mean, and it just shows you, like, I'm not quite sure if it's a mess either, because it doesn't look like it's a mess. It just, I don't really. Maybe I need to look into it more, but I can't quite see where things gone wrong.
Well, it's quite strange because, I mean, the thing is that since they are selling all their players, and they've been quite honest about saying that they need to, basically they need to have a restructure, and they need to start from the bottom up. I think essentially, but where are they going to find other players who are as good or better than the ones that they're selling? It does seem a bit strange. Yeah,
it seems strange. It seems like a commercial disaster. Really, they've had a long time to kind of get the commercial side in check, really, and a lot of teams, Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, even Tottenham, are massive around the world because the commercial strategy, even just if it's one game at pre-season at bloody Japan, or, do you know what I mean? All this helps to contribute to more sales on merchandises and shirts, etc. But yeah, that is Newcastle's issue. We will keep an eye on that. I feel like I've got to go research it now. But as that's Newcastle's issue, this is the end of the podcast. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has watched over the past week, because our subscription views on YouTube are still slow, but these things take time. I think we're about 12 episodes in now, and now we're just starting to boom on the social medias like TikTok. So these things take time, but I just want to say thank you to everyone for watching these. And if there's any content you feel like we need to do more of, let us know, and we will try to accommodate that. I don't think there'll be a podcast in general in full next week because I am away, but we will be doing our social media TikTok stuff instead, which is booming anyway, so you won't miss out on nothing really. It's just I won't be able to edit the episodes in time. Tom, is there anything you want to say on the back of this episode?
Yeah, thanks everyone again for tuning in. If you hit the subscribe button, just this one or this one, and it'd be great to have more of you try and follow, watch us every week. The other thing that I was going to say is that this is to Craig, but also everyone else. I know that everyone's already suffering with a lack of sleep. If you think that's gone bad, well, the round of 16 game that we're going to be playing either Mexico or Ecuador, if we get through, is at one in the morning and one on Monday night. So it's about to get worse, folks.
And you know what? So lucky for me, I am away when that's on. And
you're lucky, git.
I am away. And not only that, my wife is Belgian and A-Team Belgium are playing at 1 a.m. on the Monday morning, and England are playing 1 a.m. on the Tuesday morning. So to come at a better time for me personally. So as Tom said, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for laughing at us. It's all appreciated. So obviously, on that note, the group stage is finally done. The knockout football is here. Yes. And from now on, every mistake can send a team home, as we know. So England done the hard part by topping the group. But the real examination starts with Congo. And we've basically got one of the biggest managerial appointments that could go wrong in Enzo Maresca joining Manchester City. So we'll see that come the start of the new season. And then, we'll be back after the last 16, I think, on the full episodes, but you'll see us all the way through, and you'll definitely see me all the way through on TikToks, and Tom, I'm sure, will want to get his hands on that as well, to see how England have done. And if England do go out, don't be surprised if we just pack it up and go home until September. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and let's enjoy the knockout football later.
Yeah, let's enjoy it. Until next time, folks. See ya.
See ya. Bye.
From the